Hello, my name is Mr. Leidner. This is part 2 of diagnostic problems and some solutions that we can have for string playing. One problem that I see is that the intonation between notes like C sharp and D, or G sharp and A, is out of tune. On violin and upper strings, this normally happens because all of our fingers are spaced evenly. That's what feels natural, right? So our fourth finger might be in tune. So say our E on the A string. And we go, okay, let's play a G sharp. It's super flat G sharp. And you can tell visually because my fourth and third finger aren't touching. Same thing with, like I was saying, C sharp in A, or like A and G sharp. So my A is in tune, but my G sharp is too flat. Same thing here. D, my C sharp is way flat. So what you want to do is touch your third finger with your fourth finger. Make them hug and touch. Now it's in tune. And that applies for all of these. Fixed. Problem number 2 is that the notes that are played down bow stay in the upper half and they never return back down to the lower half. So this happens often for especially upper string players, where they might start playing at the frog, but as soon as they're out here, they like to just stay in the upper half, and they can never make it back all the way down. This normally happens because we have to raise our wrist and elbow up to go all the way back to the frog, and that can sometimes be difficult. And if there's tension somewhere in your shoulder or arm, you might not want to do that. So you keep your arm down, and it stays down here. But this keeps you from having a full sound and using your full bow. So I would practice the opposite. Try to just stay in the lower half. See how it feels. Try and get comfortable playing in just the lower half. Now when you try to do it again, you'll have some familiarity staying comfortably in the lower half. Full bow now. Another problem that we sometimes see is that notes played at the frog are always crunchy. So now that we can play in the lower half more, there's too much weight. We hear this. This is very common for beginners that are starting at the frog. Because there's so much weight, we lifted our elbow up and our wrist up and our whole arm weight is on. And we want to really make sure we get that weight and sound that we want. For louder dynamics, directors will often say, use more weight. Well, sometimes we can use too much weight, especially at the frog. Now, if I use that same feeling of weight at the tip, it's clear. So we have to use less weight at the frog and more weight towards the tip. A good way to try to experiment with different weight uses, try to play piano at the frog and crescendo to forte at the tip, and then de crescendo on the up bow back to piano, so that you really experience lightness at the frog and substantial weight at the tip. And that'll sound like this. Now when you play normally, you'll have a nice even sound that won't crunch. A fourth problem we sometimes see is that notes in first position are consistently flat. So for example, you might be sounding like a D major scale might sound like this. As you can probably see with my hand, my fingers aren't this nice big rounded shape, but they're kind of more flat and pulled back like this. This goes into wrist angle as well, but if you watch my left hand one more time, look at the angle that my fingers are at when I'm doing this incorrect left hand technique. So here, they're really pulled down like this, where what we want is nice rounded fingers that make this tunnel. You might think of this as like holding a ball in your palm, like this. A way that we can also reach around, a second potential cause of this is that our elbow is too far back or too far in. If we can bring our elbow this way and turn it up, so suddenly, I don't know if you can see this, my finger angle from this goes to this. And I immediately have a more rounded hand shape, and I'll have much more control on the intonation I can have. Our final problem that we can see is that the tone of notes sounds thuddy with no ring or tone, really. You might think all tone comes from the right hand, but in this case, it might be a left hand issue. Let's listen and see if we can see what my left hand is doing that's causing the sound to be thuddy. Did you catch it? My left hand is too light. It's not depressing the string fully, where it can produce a nice clear tone. So my fingers are too loose. Instead, make sure there's full weight in your fingers. Now that doesn't mean squeeze with your thumb like this. It means drop your arm weight. Feel the weight of your arm pulling the string down through your curved fingers. Now it should sound like this with nice, full, weighted fingers. These issues are relevant for upper and lower strings, and they affect people at all levels. So think carefully about how you're playing. Maybe take a video, see if you can hear any of the things I mentioned, and you'll be on your way to better string playing and a more enjoyable music making experience. Have a great day.